We identified three groups that we were interested in. One was people who'd used an e-cigarette and nothing else. Another group was people who'd used one of the licensed nicotine products, patch, gum, whatever, and nothing else. And another group who'd used nothing at all. And we looked to see whether they were still not smoking. And we also were able to adjust statistically for any other sort of differences that there might have been between them. For example, we know that people who use a nicotine product are actually more dependent than others, so you've got to adjust for that. And when we compared the success rates of those groups, what we found was that those who are using the electronic cigarette were about 60% more likely still not to be smoking than either of the other two groups.
Well, we have a product that is being marketed in a way that often looks exactly like real cigarettes. This is a very good way of getting around the existing bans on marketing of cigarettes when you have products that to children will look exactly the same. So I just simply don't accept that there's no harm associated with them. The other thing is that nicotine is not an entirely safe product. Remember that nicotine is used as an insecticide. So if people are happy sitting with essentially an insecticide floating around in the room with them, that's fine.
This is killing something like 5 to 6 million people a year. You know, the figures are just astronomical. The opportunity, potentially, to drastically reduce that is something that we just simply cannot give up. Yes, there are risks attached to it in theory, but those have to be weighed against the gains. And this is where, you know, the controversy is and where all the debate is about e-cigarettes. On the one hand, you've got people who see that opportunity, and I'm one of them, and think we must cautiously go with it. And there are others who just see it as a threat. And I think that is a mistake.
Gummy bear. I'm not driving.
If we really want to make a difference on smoking, then we need to go for the classic measures, which are to address price through tax hikes, the advertising, the marketing, which is particularly by going for plain packs and reducing availability, as in the point of sales displays that we have. And we know from the experience in Australia and New Zealand that we can achieve levels that are perhaps a quarter of what we're seeing in smoking rates in the United Kingdom without using an unproven technology of marginal benefit, if any, and with serious risks of renormalizing the imagery of smoking.
Faccia una tirata non necessariamente molto forte perché qui non deve...
We actually have already 2 experimental studies, 2 randomized controlled trials, which found that forms of e-cigarettes, which are now obsolete, they weren't actually very good e-cigarettes, but so they're not on the market anymore, but those were in when given with a bit of professional support, were actually similar to the licensed nicotine products in terms of their benefit for smokers. What we now see from our research is that when there's no professional support involved, which is actually how most people are using these things, that there is some benefit for these products, whereas with the licensed nicotine product, unfortunately, we're not seeing that kind of benefit. So it's a piece of the jigsaw puzzle. I think it's quite positive for e-cigarettes, but of course we do need more research continually.